Hello everybody, welcome back to beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida and C&S Corvettes. It's your Corvette buddy Lyle here to talk to you about more interesting, exciting, innovative and hopefully helpful information. And today we're going to focus on the helpful part because I've been hearing a lot about one particular symptom people with C5s are having recently, and we're going to cover the causes for that symptom and how to fix it. In the meantime, check this out real fast. Okay guys, we have another really good cause offering a sweepstakes for a 2024 Corvette Z06 plus $20,000 cash to cover your taxes. This is really a beautiful car. Obviously, we all want a Z06, and it's a chance to get a reasonable shot at winning one without having to lay out a lot of money. Now, the key here, and we always focus on this, is this is being put up by MS Solutions, which is a charity that assists people with multiple sclerosis and helps them not only financially, but also helps raise public awareness so that more and more people maybe are helping to push for new solutions or further research. They've been around a long time. Obviously, they're based here in the United States. It's a worthy cause. And the cool part is, because we're partnering with them, if you go in and say, I'll give $100 to the charity, you're actually going to get an additional 25% more entries. So for $100 you get 90 entries plus an additional 23 because we're helping them out. So you'll see our promo code C&S here. You can do whichever amount you feel comfortable with, enter your name, information, all that, and on the next page you enter your credit card information. And then the drawing for this card is on August 31st 2024. So if you are seeing this video after that date, then check on one of my more recent videos and we will probably have another charitable sweepstakes happening at that time that will still be ongoing. Otherwise, guys, I wish you the best of luck, and if I hear about you winning this car, I'd be really, really thrilled. So let me know. Thanks. So, I've had several emails and actually several cars in the shop over the last couple of months, C5 in particular, that are having the same problem. Hey Lyle, why is my clutch pedal sticking to the floor? I mean, I can get under it with my toe and bring it back up, but why is my clutch pedal getting stuck? Okay, so my first question to that is always, do you have any fluid leakage under the car? And if their answer is no, then it's one of two things. The absolute least common solution to this problem, unfortunately, is a broken clutch spring. So this is the spring that physically throws the clutch pedal back at you after you let it go from your foot, right? These can break, but honestly, I've seen maybe 3 in 20 years that broke, and that was because these were guys who were either drag racing or doing autocross or something where they were stamping on the clutch pedal like my ex-wife trying to kill a spider. These really don't usually break. Now, you can always get under there and take a look at it, and if any of these little wires are broken, you need a spring. But most likely you have a different problem. And that problem is your clutch master cylinder. Now, just so you can see what this is, even though it looks like a plumbus, if you know what that is. Yeah. Okay, so this connects to your clutch pedal assembly. Firewall is here, and then this goes up to your clutch fluid reservoir, and then a line goes off of the front here down to your slave cylinder. And when you push the clutch, this pushes in, sends fluid down there, and if necessary, takes a sip from the reservoir up top, right? These are inexpensive. This is a Luke. It's OEM materials. They run about 80, 90 bucks. And they're not terribly difficult to replace because you don't have to disassemble the whole car to get to them like you would for the slave cylinder. We'll have an upcoming video on those. But I wanted to go through and educate myself this week about what happens with these and why they fail the way they do, to where when you push the plunger in, it doesn't really want to come back out. It doesn't make any sense. So we did some laboratory experimentation, and what I did was I took a known bad clutch master cylinder. Let me grab it. I'm back. So, hollow tube with a metal sleeve. Inside that tube is this guy. So if you can see this, there's what looks like a little steel witch's hat down here with a hole in the end that fluid flows through. And then you've got this anodized aluminum shaft, let me bring that back, with a rubber seal here and a rubber seal here. In your clutch master, this normally lives right about here, okay? And when you push, this moves in and out like that, right? Now, granted, the spring is captured at the end, so it's not traveling outside of this, but when you push the pedal, this squishes down. There's a rubber lip seal right here that pushes fluid out and down into your slave cylinder to activate your clutch. Now, in particular, what we learned is that it's really important to clean your clutch fluid from time to time, guys, because when these fail, most of the time it's because there's a bunch of gunk that has built up either here, on this seal, or all three. When that happens, you have to understand, this seal right here is most important, this little guy right here. Because it is basically, it looks like a one-way seal. It's angled outward this way, and then it has little notches kind of formed into it. So when this is in the housing, the fluid reservoir up above here can fill this area, and when this is crushed down by the cylinder wall, these little passageways allow fluid to flow from this area into the plunger part that pushes fluid. So that way it's constantly keeping the correct level of fluid in your system and can draw from the reservoir as needed. When this gets covered in dirt and grit and gunk, then what happens is this seal here gets compromised, which means that fluid, which shouldn't be able to move this way, is now able to move this way as well as that way. So when you press your pedal, instead of squeegeeing the fluid off and returning pressure to you, the spring still works, but it's just this seal is now torn and is allowing this to work without moving any fluid. That is the basic way to explain this. I am not a fluid dynamics engineer. All I am is a guy who knows how to take something apart and figure out, I think this is how it works. If you are a fluid dynamics engineer and I have gotten this explanation wrong, please put it in the comments below. I would love to hear about it and learn more so that I can help other people. Point being, if you don't ever change your clutch fluid, even using the Ranger method where you pump up and drain the goop out, drain the ugly fluid out, put fresh fluid in, pump, and do that over and over and over again until you're not getting any dirty fluid, that is going to help this keep from getting completely contaminated. Once this is contaminated, then you are it's just the stopwatch is running and eventually this is going to fail. Thankfully, again, not terribly expensive, not terribly difficult to replace. You do have the option of upgrading to something like a tick adjustable master cylinder, which means that you can adjust the pressures and you can also adjust the length of the shaft coming out of the back of this to fit heavy duty aftermarket clutches, twin disc clutches, other options for high performance cars. I will caution you though that it costs about 3.5 times what this does, and it requires quite a bit of extra installation, because whereas this unit kind of locks into an existing hole on the firewall, the other, with the tick, you've got to go in and drill holes, and it takes time. Changing one of these, once the car's on a lift, takes about 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. Doing a tick master cylinder install can take 3 to 4 hours if it's your first one. So just be aware of that. However, if you are running a bunch of extra horsepower, if you are running a very heavy duty clutch, you probably want to move away from the stock unit and move into something like the tick. Any questions about this stuff? Any comments? Anything you can educate me on? Put it in the comments below. If your clutch is sticking to the floor, time to do one of these. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.